Okay, let's start. We now explore the way to do online business. We have two classifications of how to do online trading. We call e-commerce business model and also, hang on, and also the category. All right, we have two ways to classify it. The e-commerce business model is the method that people, after they read a lot of the e-commerce method in the world and see in the magazine, they summarize it. So it is much easier to understand. The category is e-commerce actually is much more academic. Both have their value, so we're going to spend some time on that to understand it, all right, in the second half of e-commerce. Because knowing how to do e-commerce, all right, adopt the way that you want to do or you can help, all right, in your business, definitely will help you gain, as you see here, probability, all right? How can I make more profit, make more money, all right? That's the way. So if I know about the accessible way, what way I can adopt, more often than not, I'll be having a higher chance of getting a better value chain as well, all right? So my e-commerce will run good. So what is the first way? Normally, we see people doing online trade or e-commerce. Way number one, merchant model. Merchant model is normally you have an old retail model running, and then you transform that model into the web or apps. Right? That's the merchant model. Do you have any example like that in the world? Right? Take a look at the kindergarten kids. All right. In the old days, when people, right, in the study go for kindergartens, very small child, right, they don't know how to write the names, right? So from time to time, when they go to school, they have to. In the old days, people would make a chop for them, so they chop the name instead of writing their own names, right? That's the old way of selling chops, right? The old retail model is like that. 頭先講咧，啲小朋友咧，啲細路仔去上幼稚園咧，唔識寫字啊，自己名咁啊，咪同佢整個印，佢自己印個名噶嘛。That's the old way, right? This way of running name shop, all right, of producing name shop for little kids, now been moved to the internet. Actually, nowadays when you want to buy something like that or you want to get something like that for the kids, they're no longer in a shop, all right, way. Instead, they will turn the shop that they used in the old days into, guess what? 你估下而家咧啲人咧，啲小朋友啊，而家去翻幼稚園咧，佢唔係佢唔係攞個印自己名嘅喎，佢係點㗎？你知唔知？自己簽玩嘢，唔識寫字㗎人哋，哦嚇係啦，they use sticker. You see, they use sticker. Maybe the sticker is very cute. Maybe it's a Pokemon sticker with his name. Maybe it's a what else? Pokemon or the car, you know, the I forgot the name of the car. The car story, right? The cartoon, right? 有個車嘅卡通，我唔記得咗個名添。反斗車王係啊，Plexus 啊，alright, something like that. And they have the name with the cars, right? The name with the Pokemon, right? So this is a very classic example of someone turning the old traditional chopping business, right, name chop business, into a name sticker business, and they transform it totally on the internet. People order the name, and then they would have the sticker ready, and the sticker was sent to them. 即係而家係點玩嘅咧？就係而家唔做印章啦，就係喺個 internet 度做咗個名，跟住咧就幫你印晒嗰啲貼紙，跟住寄俾你噶嘛，咁啊收你錢啊，好平添。It's also cheaper than the shop that people buy in the early day. Okay, so this is the merchant model. Broker model. What is broker model? If you use the broker model, you basically is the middle person between two parties. You're matching someone who wants to sell something, someone want to buy something, you match them, and then you earn a commission out of it. Now, don't overlook that. That commission is about 10-15%. If you study financial accounting, you already know normally the net profit for a business is roughly that percent. So it is actually a good business running model, and that's why a lot of people like in the world to bring the seller buyer together，做撮合啊，即係撮合人哋買賣咧，跟住收佣金有10至15%咧，好高嘅其實，因為咧一般嘅實業咧都係十零個 percent 嘅咋，佢咁樣撮合下人哋，咁樣就攞到10零個 percent，所以咧其實係好抵做，好賺錢，好容易做。Internet is a place where it's categorized with linking. Internet 係一個咧會聯絡所有嘢嘅地方嚟噶嘛。So if you have the ability to gather both parties together and organize them in a good way, you earn a lot of money. Classic example for that is Taobao, Amazon. They are nothing but a matcher. 亞馬遜同埋淘寶咧，其實咧係乜都冇嘅，只係一個撮合人哋買賣嘅平台，咁就賺好多錢啦。Right? It's actually just a kind of server to bring those parties together. So if you can do something like that, all right, you see the nature of how to match people, you now can quit your study in HKCC and start one, all right? Maybe you earn a lot of money, all right? So brokerage model, all right? Advertising is an extension, all right? Still is a very good way for spreading your news, especially advertising today is extending to multimedia. So it's normally linked with some of the company with a lot of customer using it, like Facebook, Twitter, and they join together and they make use of the ability of those social media to spread their product and service information to the target audience much more accurately. That's advertising. Now, gradually, this kind of social media spread out of your marketing, social media marketing, is taking or replacing traditional one. I'm telling you. 嗱呢個咧就勁啦，即係嗰個 advertising 咧就漸漸咧就移咗去咧用社交媒體去做。Now if you buy something $10, okay, the cost of production, or you will always ask the cost of goods sold, right? How many percent you think? 你買嚿嘢，你估你嗰個成本有幾？即係生產成本其實幾多啊？10蚊雞咁樣。Yeah, about $2. 15, all right? $15, $1.5 is ideal. 2, all right? So 85%, where is that going? About 50%, 50, go for advertisement, right? Think about that, right? Now you're taking that 50% off and do it using internet without a cost. 你走去賣廣告咧，10蚊雞咧，5蚊雞攞嚟賣廣告㗎，真係，即係你賣件嘢，你喺電視度推咧，10蚊你賣10蚊5蚊就去咗賣廣告啦，係啊。但係如果你去咗互聯網，你就嗰5蚊慳翻喎。Alright, but you still can make a good profit out of it. Alright, that's why you see in advertising, there's a lot of company helping the other company to advertise in the social media in a very easy manner. Because getting the knowledge of spreading news in the social media is not all that easy. Some people are not so used to it. So we see that there are some company helping the others to set up social media news spreading, right? And they may not be charging all that much, but still, they can make a big business out of it. 咁香港好多嘅廣告公司而家變咗咧係點咧？就唔係去啲傳統媒體賣廣告，係幫人哋咧有啲人咧就想知道啲 social media 邊個咧係放呢啲嘢，去連登度放啲咩去推廣自己咧。咁佢又可以收啲錢，佢唔會收得好貴，但係咧嗰個 business 咧係足以咧佢都賺得幾豐厚嘅。呢個咧都係 advertising 我哋見到。所以呢個又係可以諗下咯喎，即係如果你有啲 knowledge，if you have some knowledge of getting social media users and you know them well, you can start a business and ask for people to get you to spread the product service news. All right? And that's why you see a lot of YouTuber. You know YouTuber? They also take up this advertising role. They would Some people would sponsor them and they would make use of their platform perplexity to the outside world and spread a particular product service。所以有啲 YouTuber 咧會幫人賣廣告喎，因為佢咧譬如有幾多萬觀眾咧，咁佢好似有個電視咁咧，就提供啲嘢俾人知道，都會有喎。我哋而家呢個所謂 extension 嚟㗎嘛，咁又係一種 model，有一個賺錢嘅模式嚟嘅喎，又係可以賺到啲錢嘅喎。And then we have mixed. What is mixed way of doing business? Let's take a look at the sentence describing it. It says generate business from more than one source is mixed model, right? Normally, company using mixed model would be distributor, right? Maybe they would sell some of the things they produce to retailers, and also they have direct sales, and that would be mixed model, right? Maybe they are company like Panasonic. Panasonic actually using mixed model all time. Company like Fortress, right, Broadway, they will buy electrical appliances from Panasonic. On the other hand, they also customer can have direct buy from them. All right, that's mixed model. Now, mixed model has a problem. If you run mixed model but with different prices, sometimes there will be channel conflict. So this is something that we have to be aware of. 混合模式咧都係喺 Internet 時代會出現啦，就係、你可以透過唔同渠道咧，尤其是你係批發商咧，咁咧就係、呢件係呢件好即係做得幾可以即係令到批發商得到好多利潤嘅嘢，就係、除咗透過零售商賣自己嘅產品之外咧，可以俾人直銷，即係 mix model 就係咁啦，咁譬如頭先講嘅信興啦，咁佢可以賣啲電器俾豐澤啊、百老匯啦。咁同時咧，咁佢都可以俾人哋直接買嘅。咁可能你就要去佢個貨倉度搬啦，OK。但係如果你唔計呢個成本咧，咁你可能咧都 OK 嘅。咁 mix model 最大嘅問題咧，頭先有講嘅，就係、要處理你唔同渠道散貨咧，大家會有衝突嘅。例如我直銷嘅時候賣得平啲，我賣俾零售商又貴啲喎。咁零售商就會嘈你，喂點解你咁樣？We have something like that happening with channel conflicts actually. That is Samsung. Samsung they produce a lot of mobile phone in the old day, and some of the authorized dealer they get a price like that, and some of the dealers get it direct and then they have a cheaper price. And then later, people find that actually in some shop that is not authorized, they sell a much lower price. So the authorized dealer complained to Samsung that they have two different ways setting the competition unequal in selling the product and refuse to carry their product for a while. Alright, that's Samsung's story. Samsung 咧就試過啦，咁就揾咗佢一啲叫 authorized dealer，即係佢哋預設嘅買賣零售商啦。咁佢又自己玩直銷，有人買一大堆直銷嘢攞咗，跟住譬如喺啲閣樓度賣喎，咁啲錢又平過嗰個叫 authorized dealer。咁 authorized dealer 咪走去嘈咗 Samsung 點解你搞到咁啊？咁咪一個叫不公平競爭啦。咁所以咧 channel conflict 係會發生嘅喺 mix model 成日都會。Well, let's take a look at the next one. Next one is a very funny way, but it's also very attractive way that people always think about when they go for internet business or e-commerce. It's intermediary. Intermediary actually means you find a way to gather a lot of people information and resell them to some other businesses so that they have a very large client base to spread the marketing news. There's intermediary. Intermediary 咧就係、結集好多人嘅啲資訊咯，跟住咧就收集完嚟啲資訊之後咧就賣俾一啲想要散貨即係要推廣告嘅公司咯。Alright, who will be using all those intermediary? Can you guess? 你估下邊個會用呢啲 intermediary 咧 ？Yeah, the bank, the insurance company. They always want a lot of clients, but they always have difficulty getting the clients. That's why they are very willing to pay people to gather all those customer business, all right? Because some business have a chance of getting the other information, right? If you resell them and then they would pay you actually, and then you get a lot of money out of it. Now the biggest scandal in Hong Kong, I don't know whether you heard of before, that they resell customer information for banks and insurance company and gain a great profit. And this is 你知唔知最大嘅醜聞喺香港咧？買賣呢啲即係客戶資訊俾人咧，就賺好多錢係邊間公司咧？O 字頭嘅 estimate is start with O and end with S， 中間有個 T 嘅。Yeah, you got it. Octopus. Octopus is the company that's about eight years ago, 8年前啦。I think it's about 8 years ago. It resell customer information and then to banks, to insurance, and gain a lot of profit. And this issue make the CEO of Octopus have to resign. 咁啊炒咗八達通嗰個老細魷魚嘅，因為佢做咗呢啲事。But it also made Octopus a very rich company because of that kind of intermediary. So this is a very good model actually for money making. And that's why a lot of people in the world do it. I'm telling you. 所以好鬼死多人咧喺個世界做互聯網生意咧，係用呢隻㗎，即係買賣資料㗎。Now we have the last model. The last model is normally for digital products, all right? It's for renting, all right? From time to time, this is for experience, enjoyment, all right? Things like that. And then you pay and then you have the experience right away. That is subscription model, okay? And we find this getting more and more popular, especially when you take a look at Netflix, right? Netflix, Apple TV, right? They are all kind of things that they have good subscription model. And now it's become so popular, and they sell not only the service there. Right now they are selling also the algorithm. That means they know you when you use their service. And once they know you, they would be sure to get the things that the entire entertainment you want, right, very precisely, and that's why you use it. 嗱，而家嘅 subscription model 咧就同 AI 有關嘅，佢哋賣緊個演算法啊，我哋話嚇，即係 algorithm 啊，就係每一間公司都係喎，譬如 YouTube 啦、Netflix 啦、Apple TV 都係，只要你用佢嘅服務咧，佢就開始明白你。只要佢明白你咧，佢就一定喺佢嗰堆片入邊揀到啲正嘢俾你睇，你睇完之後越嚟越中意佢嘅。OK， 咁嘅喎，咁佢就 subscription model， 咁佢就賺錢啦，因為你越嚟越用佢用得多。You're willing to pay, right, the fee on a continuous basis. The fee is not high actually. For Netflix, it's about I think it's $68. YouTube Premium is also about 60 something, right? Apple TV I think it's about 30 something. 佢哋好平嘅，每個月費咁樣60啊80，你會唔覺會用咗啲錢嘅。But they aim for you to spend time with them long term. Because once they know you, it's not only that they can provide you with entertainment, they also can sell your usage, all right, number, data for more profit. 因為呢啲公司咧，點解佢會咁平？譬如你睇 Netflix 都60幾蚊，點解會咁平咧？因為佢唔係淨係咧賣片嚟俾你睇、租俾你睇咁簡單。你用嗰個數據嗰個習慣咧，佢係可以轉賣嘅。咁呢個轉賣嘅數據同埋個演算法咧係值更加多錢嘅。佢係賣緊呢樣嘢嘅好多時。所以我哋其實唔係真係咁着數去睇佢哋嗰啲節目㗎嚇。你有時有啲人就拒絕睇啦，咁唔想俾佢學習啦。Okay, that's also true. Now, so those are the models that we see in the world. When you start your own business online, then you think about which one you go for. Are you going for a traditional? You're transforming traditional to a new one. Be a middle person. You're helping the other to spread out product service news as advertising, or you make use of different channels to help company, all right, to sell their product as fast as possible, or you get information to resell, all right, or you study people behavior and resell them, all right, that's subscription model actually. So this is what we see so far. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them. All right. So quite easy, right? It's also very down to earth, very close to us. Now, another way to look at how e-commerce conducted is by category. This is much more academic. 第二個方法去睇 e-commerce 咧點樣做嘅咧， 咁就比較上係學術啲啦。咁呢個係學術嘅分類方法啦，同頭先你見到啲 model 唔似，嗰啲 model 咧好現使嘅，一用咧就即刻就係啱就使用啦，如果唔啱就算數咁樣。Now, so how the academics study that online training activities? They start from the very old time of human being having countries concept that actually date back to very long time ago in Silk Road period。我去到絲綢之路年代係好耐㗎啦嚇，其實即係通訊啊買賣呢樣嘢咧係已經開始啦。That's actually, alright, no matter how it takes, it's actually start with G to G, right? In the old days, we also had little device. Once we discover how to use electronic。During the 1900喺1900年咧，人咧開始咧就識啲電子嘢，開始咧就已經有一啲電子嘅通訊㗎啦。But that time is only country and country linking to one another for security purpose, and that's G to G, and this G to G. All right, and then we experienced the World War I and World War II. That's about 1940, 1950, right? So human history basically stopped for a while, and then we progressed.Once we progress from the World War period, we have to establish a lot of big construction, like a bridge, a road, a river, right, a dam, right, things like that, factory, right? And government need a lot of builders to rebuild the city from the war, right? That's 1960-70, and that makes B to G prosper, right? B to G prosper. B is the government. The government is using some tender system to get a lot of builders. And every time, the government also expecting the builders use the same device to communicate with them on a fair basis. And this kind of device is expensive. However, the transaction, once done, the amount is really huge. And that transaction amount can cover the cost of communication. And that's why business, like the big builders, still willing to kind of follow the government protocol and make some devices to communicate with them. That's the period of B to G and G to B, and B to G. 嗱，1960年咧要重建啲戰後嘅世界啦，咁要好多嘅發展商嚟到幫手啊，起橋起路啊咁樣嗰啲啦。咁政府咧係用咗國與國之間嘅通訊嘅工具咧，就要佢哋做投標服務嘅。咁嗰啲大嘅發展商咧係會捨得用錢咧去製造，即係去買呢啲器材同個政府溝通。OK， 因為咧達成咗一單嘅標書咧，嗰個價錢咧係遠遠可以 cover 到咧嗰個通訊嘅費用啊，所以我哋話咧 ，the transaction amount is huge。Even though the frequency is low, it's still workable, it's still coverable。所以咧，雖然嗰、即係使用嘅頻率好低啊，可能咧仲係同政府一年標幾次書嘅啫。但係因為咧嗰、個金額咧係即係嗰個成交嘅金額好高咧，都可以 cover 到條數。Well, business is very flexible. If business have some machines that can link with the government,They will also use this kind of machine to link with similar business as supplier and user, or maker, right? And that's why they have B2B, right? For example, a shipping company and a factory, well, maybe they all have the facilities, the communication facilities tendering with the government.When they are not using that facilities, they link with one another. So when anyone just produce some garment or shirts or clothes, they can contact the shipping company direct. And that's the initial attempt of internet use by means of EDI in B2B。頭先講個例子咧，就係譬如一個船務公司啦，可能咧就係一個做衣服嘅公司，咁政府都要衣服嘅喎嚇，嗰啲俾啲工人着㗎嘛，同埋都係咁啦。咁佢可能用嗰啲電子器材同個政府溝通完之後咧，咁佢唔會嘥咗喺度嘅，佢可能會同個船務公司個通訊器材咧拎埋，變咗佢做起咗一大堆嘅衫褲咧，佢就揾個船務公司 ship 咗去第二個國家，咁嗰陣時就開始 B to B。That's 1960, 1970. Right, that's 1960, 1970. It's not until 1995 that we have internet connection, all right, from company use to home use, all right. We call it the commercialization of internet. And then companies start thinking about, okay, I can sell something to individual, all right. When it is in B2B, the feature still, the transaction amount is huge, even though the frequency is low. But when it's come to individual, the transaction for each time will not be so great. But the frequency is quite many, and this is how they use to compensate the cost of communication. That's why they have B2C. That's 1995。1995年咧係一個重要嘅年度嚟嘅，就係、互聯網開始民用化。咁咧，啲商團咧就開始咧就賣一啲嘢咧俾啲個體戶，即係個別嘅人啦。OK， 咁嗰陣時咧嗰啲金額啲銀碼咧就好細嘅。咁點樣可以維持嗰個買賣咧都係即係嘅合乎成本效益咧，就要賣好多啦。所以個 frequency 好高。And that's why we say the transaction amount is low that time in B2B, but the frequency of transactions are high, right? Now, and then we go on with that. We see when the government discover that the business is doing a good job, right, communicating with citizens, right, on retail, the government is thinking about maybe I can also provide similar service to citizens so that they have much more satisfactory. So from 1995 onwards until 1999, we see the government is offering more service electronically to society all around the world as well, right? As well as that's G2C, and that's why we can book a gym online, right? Or we can book a badminton court, right, for exercises, right? Or we can book a service for immigration, so I don't have to queue up for my passport, things like that. 咁啊，個政府見到啲商家咧做得幾好喎，喺即係零售買賣入邊咧，咁就用咗呢個技術咧，就嚟服務啲市民。所以咧，由1995年到99年咧，我哋會見到好多咧電子化嘅政府服務出現咗啦。咁咧就我哋講嘅 G2C 出現啦 ，That's G2C。OK， 咁啊，譬如上網 book 球場玩啊，或者咧 book 個入境處，跟住咧去攞 passport 啊，做身份證啊，等等啦。Now, when this prospered, this also bring up something new. That is C2C. That's around 1999 to 2005. More and more people, they have things and they not use, and then they will put it online and then sell to some people that they may need it. That's the idea of eBay. That's the idea of Yahoo auction, all right? So we have C2C. And that's why you see a lot of the cases in Hong Kong that from time to time during the what we call the off-duty hours in MTR station, do you find a lot of people gather there and they have a lot of 交收 right? Exchange of product, right? 即係1999年開始咧，去到2005年咧，啲人咧就開始咧就將自己買咗啲嘢咧多餘嘅咧就唔要咧就上網就賣俾人啊拍賣啊。所以喺嗰陣時間開始，你都見到好多咧，我哋越嚟越多攞個地鐵站作為交收啦。OK， because we have a lot of C2C here. Still, a lot of people doing that, but not so much as we see. The peak is actually from 1999 to 2005. Now, people selling to one another in such a way that they also gather together in such a very good manner that they become a great demand themselves. That sometimes people can be gathered together and make a good bargain to business, so they have much higher quantity discount. And that's the evolution of C2B during 2005 to 2008, or to 2010 actually. All right. And then we see something called Groupon, group buy happening. Have you heard of that? 有冇人聽過團購？係啊，團買乜團買乜。因為咧越嚟越多個散客咧喺多出嚟喺度買呢樣買嗰樣，咁有啲人咧就睇到個商業機會喎，哇！集合咗呢班 demand 咧，咁我就係一間大嘅公司啦，咁我就可以同啲大嘅公司 bargain 一個更加大嘅折頭 ，right? Maybe that mouse is $500. If I have maybe 5,000 people wanting the same mouse, that would only cost 200. Wow, then a lot of people would buy it, right? 團購嗰陣時做咩咧？作嚟做嗰啲遊船河啊，咁啊可以咧用好即係平時即係嘅 standard price 好低嘅價錢咧攞到同樣服務嘅，因為佢有好大嘅量，我哋話有折扣即係量嘅折扣優惠。Right, that's C to B. Group I, Group Pawn actually prospered there. Now, this assembling forces of people is so great. It's so great. In the end, that it also changed the government. All right. That's we see C to G happening. Right. People start gathering together as a group, as like a society, like a community, and demand the government to do something. And that's why more and more that we see the government is turning itself from a real face-to-face manner into an electronic manner. All right. The trigger point is the first one is in Tasmania. All right. There are a lot of people get together to strike against the government. All right. That's we call the first social movement. And then we see in around that time, right, 2010, that time, and 14 also, 2014, Egypt government was overthrown by the people, right, because people get together online and they form a group, right, overthrow the government, and then we see Hong Kong, there's a yellow umbrella movement, right, all those things. That's actually reflecting C2G happening, that we see the customers getting more control, right, and the government is losing, right, the balance in society. And that's why when you see the pages after, they have e-government appearing as a way to counteract this kind of trend. 咁喺2008年之後咧，咁越嚟越多嘅人士咧可以透過網咧嚟到結集啊。第一單嘢結集咧就喺澳洲嘅突尼西亞啊，咁就咧整咗個叫茉莉花運動啦，咁啊搞到嗰個政府咧就要跪低啦。跟住搞到2012啊到嘅時間咧，咁就埃及咧啲友咧就利用互聯網方法結集咗咧，就冧咗個政府啦，穆巴拉克就落台啦。如果你有睇新聞，你就會知啦。OK。跟住2014年咧，咁我哋咧都做一啲轟烈嘢嘅喺香港，就整咗個雨傘運動啦。咁你都睇到啦。OK，so this is the reflection of C to G。咁呢件事嘅契機係咩咧？就係政府開始發覺咧，佢係冇辦法咧用現實嘅體系咧嚟到去管治個社會嘅，因為社會開始嗰個平衡咧去咗互聯網嗰度。所以點樣先可以管治一個地方好啲咧？佢要自己都電子化埋。And that's why we see e-government. All right. Anyway, let's have a break. That's the way we see the development of e-commerce. But remember, we have 9 of them here. 所以呢版嘢咧，原來咧講緊咧就係成個互聯網嘅電子化嘅發展咧，由咧國家咧去到而家啦，有9種咁多喎，原來唔知你仲記唔記得咧？Anyway, let's take a look here. But when you study them, it's actually very easy, all right? Not that difficult. You have to remember 9. Sometimes I ask you a question, all right? How many maybe in MC question, I ask you, how many categories of e-commerce there? Maybe 8, 9, 10, 11. You got to know this is 9 only. 譬如話俾條 MC 你問你譬如 major e-commerce 嘅 category 有幾多個啊？9、10、11、12咁，你知係9啦。OK， something like that. All right. Okay, study the detail is very easy. What is B2C? B2C, the full term is you have to know is business to consumer, okay? And it's direct sale to customer, all right? Typical example for that is Amazon, Taobao, Nike, all right? Or Park and Shop or Welcome Supermarket, they're actually all B2C. 咁我哋有好多 B2C 嘅例子嘅 only 3 of them here. And B2B. Now, B2B is something echoing what we learned in chapter 7 about extranet. So it's between business, trading. And that's why they always have, can you remember? They always have some quantity that you have to specify and money to settle. And that's why they have EDI and EFT and extranet. Remember the word? 嗱，所以呢嚿嘢咧係第七課講過個喎。第七課咧就叫佢做 extranet 外互聯網。呢課咧佢叫佢另外一個名喎嚇，佢叫做 B to B，其實同一樣嘢嚟嘅，就係互相對賣一啲，譬如我係供應商，你係生產者咁嘅角色。Right? So one may be the producer, one may be the supplier, and they would have a supply relationship here, and that's why you have to specify the quantity in form of invoice, remember? And they have to specify how to settle the payment, and that's why they have the EFT, right? And with B2B setup here, they can let all the orders, invoice things, right, go in a much smoother manner. Some company take up the linking, all right, between the supply and the produce demand and make this even better. And the example here is Alibaba, all right, or actually Amazon is doing something like that as well. This is actually, if you take a look at the model that we see earlier, it's a brokerage model. This is actually a brokerage model. 嗱 B to B 咧其實係中介人嘅 model，brokerage model 嚟嘅喎。佢係撮合兩個生產者，可能係供應商同埋生產者啦，又得啦。咁令到成件事咧，即係落單啊，到到俾錢咧，好快係可以做完啦。所以你見到呢件事入邊咧，有好多譬如 orders 啊、invoices 嘅嘢喺度嘅噃。Consumer to consumer is C to C。我哋互相對賣啦，咁啊 C to C 啦。That's actually options, alright? That's my transaction between our user, and that's why you see eBay here, right? I have got a coffee machine, but you don't drink coffee, so let me get that coffee machine to you. Maybe that coffee machine is $700 in the market. Okay, I don't drink coffee, so I sell you 200. Let's go to the MDR station and then we exchange this, right? eBay, right? And this one is also, right, forget about this. eBay's Yahoo auction, all right, is now a very popular way people would kind of sell things to one another in a very small items manner, all right. How does that system work? It works in a kind of way we call credit system. If you want to be successful in that auction size, what do you have to gather? You have to gather a lot of good comments. So people will think you are a trustworthy buyer and then they will buy from you. 喺呢啲咁樣嘅交易平台入邊咧，你要有信譽喎。信譽咧就係你買完嘢，譬如交收咗之後，你覺得人哋好咧，俾個 good comment，佢會儲嘅，儲完之後咧，佢就譬如有信譽嘅賣家或者買家，咁人哋咧下次咧就會幫襯佢多啲。佢係咁樣嘅，佢嘅運作系統係我哋叫 credit system， 信譽系統。C to B as said before is to gather a lot of demand and then you bargain for price, right? That's C to B， 即係頭先 good buy good 盤啦。In the old day, this is actually normally used by airline company. Airline gather a lot of people to travel needs together and bargain from airline for cheaper ticket. Priceline is doing something like that. Now we have some other company doing that, like I forgot the name, sorry, Z something or Z something, right? 咁咧以前咧，我哋賺埋一堆嘢，即係同另外一啲公司去 bargain 一個 discount 咧，就係多數喺嗰啲航空即係買機票上邊啦。OK，price 咧係即係啲即係比較早嘅公司做呢樣嘢啦。咁而家你可以話係 good buy good 盤嗰啲做緊嘢，都仲有嘅。Now, as said earlier, the government is downsizing it because of the imbalances of people gather online. They become a very big force to change society. So the government, if they want to gain control back in the society, they have to turn themselves electronic as well. And that's why we see the term e-government evolving, right? So e-government is a way the government counteracting, right, the voices, right, or control to citizens. It's not only in Hong Kong we see something like that. It's also in the States, right? In the United States of America, they're also turning more and more electronized. One of the classic examples for that is take a look at the election of Obama. Obama wins because he can manage itself in a much more in an electronic way better than the opponent that time, right? And that's why he wins. He won for about 8 years. 咁奧巴馬佢贏 第一個咁黑人總統咧，都係透過咧，即係掌握咗嗰個電子平台咧，去攞到嗰啲人嘅支持。And that's why you see Donald Trump is using something like that. It's only in Biden that's because of the COVID that changed the whole story. But we see the trend in the state in the States also turning more and more electronized. So this is already something present, all right? Present. So what e-government doing there is, how can the government downsize itself? The government downsize itself is only by making the support activity in the value chain done by the e-commerce side. And that's why the government start downsizing itself by having the training go online. And that's why they have the e-training section. 咁政府咁鬼大嚿咧，點樣可以令佢即係冇咁大嚿咧？佢就會將政府都會將自己變成 value chain 嘅，就會將嗰啲 support activities 佢就從人事管理開始咧就割咗出去外判俾人做。Alright? In that sense, the government would have less fewer employees, and that would make it more mobile. Right? That's the way government do. Starting from outsourcing human resource management out in the value chain. And the government's doing something like that. Same organization, profit, non-profit making company is doing something like that, or they follow suit basically. University, non-profit organization, political parties, they also turn with them with more websites, all right, contact over there, and they use more social media, all right. And so those are the examples that they follow suit. University, non-profit organization for fundraising, political party, they also doing something like that all the time, right? 咁你見到個 government 咧都電子化咧，其他相關 government 衍生嘅團體啊，或者非牟利團體都一致咧，都會用好多電子產品啦。Right? That's the way, alright, we see. And I think we stop here today, and next time we carry on with 22 organizational infrastructure of e-business, right? Which is much more, how to put it, theoretical.